Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm gonna do a little bit of a revising video here. It's a college football video game. I'm just gonna play the slide real quick. I'm not gonna really talk about the slide that much. I just have the slide playing so you guys could hear what I have to say. Instead of just recording myself on it, I'm just gonna let the slide play so it could explain a little bit of what I'm talking about too. So if you haven't heard by now, I've been hearing it all weekend. Texas and Oklahoma joining the SEC. I kind of been trying to avoid the subject because I'm not really happy about it. I'm upset. I really liked how I aligned college football. College football is out of control. It's always been out of control. There's no college football commissioner. There never has been. There needs to be one now. These universities are just out of control. These universities that, yes, I know they're steeped in football championship tradition and sports tradition and all this other stuff, but you get to a point where enough's enough. I realize on paper the SEC's awesome. It looks. I'm not, excuse my language. It looks badass on paper. It really does. Oklahoma and Texas, you know playing teams like LSU, Alabama, Auburn, Florida, Tennessee, Georgia, um, Missouri, and Texas A&M play each other again. Texas, Arkansas, Oklahoma, and Alabama. All these great matchups, right? I mean, it's gonna be great. I mean, don't get me wrong. From look at that SEC right there. That's my SEC right there. Let me know what you guys think of that SEC. Like UCF could definitely be in the SEC. Louisville could definitely be in the SEC. You know, so there's other teams out there too that could definitely be in the SEC as well. Um, yeah, I took South Carolina that one because I put them in the ACC, and as you could see, it's just everything just aligns better. Um, the way I think the way I have it here in the slide. I really don't know. This SEC now is gonna be. It's gonna be cool. It's gonna be cool. I'm not trying to crap on anything, but I mean, geographically for them, it makes sense to do that too. So there's pluses. There are some pluses from it, but I think it'll be cool for the. I think especially for the first 4, 5, maybe 6 years. But long term, I mean, college football is gonna be. I mean, the rest of college football is already suffering. I mean, it's like kind of crippled, you know. I mean, SEC, but SEC has earned it though. I mean, they've won. I think these last how many years have has it been now? These last like 17 years, I think they've won like 14 or 15 of these last 17 national championships. So I mean, they deserve it. They definitely the SEC's always been strong. I mean, ever since I was a kid, the SEC's always been strong, and it continues to get stronger. And but like these conferences, look at that Big 16. That looks cool. That Midwestern 16 right there. Arkansas would have came, got Arkansas back, or some of these other teams, A&M, add Houston, bring Missouri back, bring Nebraska back. It could have survived, but I think what they're gonna do, big. I don't know how the Big 12 keeps coming through. I mean, they made it last time with 10 teams. I don't think they're gonna let them do that anymore. They're gonna have to make it 12 or just disband the conference. And if they disband the conference, what's gonna happen to the rest of the teams that are in the middle of the country? Like Kansas State, Kansas, I guess, all these other TCU, Baylor. What's gonna happen to all these other guys? Um, so it's really interesting to see what's gonna happen. And it's right now. I mean, with this happening now, I don't even want to align it anymore. I mean, I think I'm pretty happy with the alignment that I have right here, and I really do hope and pray that someone sees this, says, you know what? Yes, their college football is out of control. Um, some of these teams they deserve to be the shit. They really do. They deserve to be the shit because they do have a lot of championships, but they don't. There still needs to be structure, and it still needs to be fair for everybody else. I mean, they deserve to be a power. They deserve to be recognized. That's great. They're already on. Their games are always on ESPN already as it is. SEC with ESPN. The Longhorn Network is with ESPN. Basically, this is a ESPN conference, pretty much, because SEC's, they just recently joined the ESPN full time now. They're not on CBS anymore. That would have been cool if they were able to stay on CBS, be like CBS and ESPN, like they were doing. But I think they're just on ESPN now, and ABC, of course. So I mean, money wise and contractually and all that, by the SEC being linked to ESPN, the Longhorn Network being linked to ESPN, all this stuff like makes sense. I mean, it does make sense from a dollar standpoint and all that, but it's just crazy though. It's crazy, and we let all these other networks exist, and like the Longhorn Network and all this other stuff, and it's just crazy. SEC network, conference networks, it's crazy, and I don't know. I don't know, like right here, like the network. I have networks coming up right here, right now. If you've seen it already, you could easily show these game all with all these teams that are shown here. You could easily show games on those networks. All these networks having their own networks, or conferences having their own networks. It's okay, but just make sure you put the crappiest. That's what they do. They put the one like middle to crappiest teams on there anyway. So you really don't get like the good games on there. Good games you get on channels like NBC. They're not even involved, but you need to get NBC involved, Turner back involved. College football games used to be shown on these networks, and we need to get back to that again. Get back to the basics. It just sucks, and it's a turn off how greed takes over everything. Nobody's dumb. We know what's going on. It's just we keep feeding the monster. We keep feeding the monster, and it's just that needs to stop already. There needs to be a commissioner of if it's somebody wealthy already. I mean, of course, things are going to continue the way that they're going. This needs to be redone, reconfigured, and I mean, they could have their Texas, Oklahoma, and SEC, and let's see how that plays out long term. I don't think it's gonna work for the long term. I think it could be an experiment, and they're gonna realize, you know what, this probably wasn't such a such a bad idea, but it didn't turn out to be a great idea either. So hopefully this could be revised, reconfigured. It just I hate how time it's just so much time though before they revise things though. I don't know why. Now just stay in the revise mode. Don't go through with the Oklahoma Texas thing. I mean they're probably gonna do it anyway, but I really hope they don't. I mean, Oklahoma leaves Oklahoma State. They probably don't think that's a very big deal because they probably want to play Alabama anyway instead of Oklahoma State. You know what I mean? Or LSU, or you know these programs are too entitled. I think we put too much entitlement for these programs and universities to do whatever the hell they want, and it jacks it up for everybody else. It's not the way things should be. It's just not. Anyway, thanks for listening to some of my rant here. I'm sorry if I don't mean. I'm sorry for the few curse words I said. I just want things to be right. I just want things to be right. I want this to be fixed the way it should be. And no, there's a lot of people out there that have really good ideas, but the frustrating part about this too, SEC being 16 teams now, I think this has been going on for a long time. I think Texas and Oklahoma were eyeballing the SEC ever since like 2009, maybe even 8. But 2009 is when I heard when they're going to join Pac 10 at the time to make it the Pac 16. See, before the Pac 12 became the Pac 12, it was Pac 10 almost became the Pac 16. And that would have involved the two members, I think Utah, Colorado coming in, and Texas, Oklahoma State, Texas, and Texas A&M. But Texas A&M left to the SEC. That kind of weirded things out for a little bit there. But Texas Tech was a replacement, so I was like, okay, cool. This is still gonna work, and this will work just fine too. And but I was sad about Texas A&M, that rivalry being broken up. But hey, Tech was just coming off of Mike Leach, and they were still pretty good when Michael Crabtree was a receiver. They were coming off of a hot couple of years there, and but that Pac 16 didn't happen. Um, for whatever reason. Now the SEC is the first super conference, and it was almost the Pac 16 10 years ago. And that, things like that, holdbacks like that, it's frustrating. And new commissioner now, lots could still happen. There's the Big Eight out there, floating out there, middle of the country. They need to be in a conference sooner than later. So we'll see what happens. This is also, I feel like this video here and the video I had before, the alignment here is still an option. And yeah, there needs to be a college football commissioner at some point. So we'll see what happens. Thank you guys for watching. Take care of yourselves. We'll talk very soon. And take care of yourselves.